Good morning, YouTube land. Blood and Nails here, new brand on the platform, ready to go. Excited today. I want to talk a little bit about a post that I made on social media relating to the temptation of man. But first off, this new brand is very exciting, and we are trying to start a movement here. So if you want to be a part of this journey and you want to watch how it evolves and grows from this very simple, humble beginning that you're watching now to something hopefully much bigger down the road, please like, subscribe, you know the gist. Let me know what you think about what I'm saying. Comment, bad, good. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to engage with you. I want to have those conversations. Not everybody's going to agree, and that's okay. Let's have a conversation about it. But today we are talking about the male side of the dating scene, right? I think we can all understand and relate to this, and how just everybody is just lost and we don't understand each other. There's just a vast valley, a schism between the two sexes right now. And it's so interesting because there's this schism between the sexes. There's a schism between the political parties. Everywhere we look, we're divided. And I think that division, it's killing us. We need to come together. We need to converse, especially the sexes. The political parties, that's always going to be there. That always has been there, to a greater extent today, but it's always going to be there. There's always going to be red and blue yelling at each other. But the separation of the sexes, we need to come together because it is just driving us in a direction that frankly, I think a lot of us can relate, that we just don't like where it's going. You're seeing men not having relationships. You're seeing women not having relationships. You're seeing women blame men. You're seeing men blame women. It's just this throwing rocks at each other across the river. It's your fault, and just we're getting nowhere. So today I want to talk a little bit about how we as men can take up the mantle. We can make the change that needs to happen by being the fruit of the vine, being that leader. And with weak men comes weak women, and by weak women, I mean strong women, right? Because this is what women are promoting themselves as because of feminism. We have this epidemic of strong women that feel they don't need men, they can take care of everything themselves, and you know what? Listen, I don't agree. I do not agree that we don't need each other. I know that I need a woman. Absolutely. I need a woman to keep me in line. I need a woman to support me. God created me that way. I tend to get a little egotistical. I tend to get lost in my dreams. I feel ungrounded. I get lost in pride and that upper masculinity. And us alone is not a good thing. And that's why we have the two sexes and why we're so different. We complement each other. And so by taking that away, we've found that men and women are just diving into their own self idiosyncrasies, those little idiosyncrasies that define us as men and women. They're growing in this really weird way because we're so isolated on both sides, right? Men are becoming super weak and over feminized. females are becoming super strong and super masculine, and neither of us like each other. It's such a strange thing, being in the dating world and watching it change. I mean, the change in just the last 5 years has been exponential. The hypergamy, where all of the men, most of the men tend to not get dates, right? It's the top 10% of men that get 80% of the women. And I don't want to get into all the craziness of all of that, maybe in another video, but it's been talked about ad nauseum, right? So anybody that is watching this that understands that world of hypergamy understands what I'm talking about. Today I want to talk about being men and being leaders. Because it isn't about blame, it's about responsibility. We're living in an over-sexualized, overstimulated, under-disciplined world. People introduce themselves by their sexual preferences, right? And we've just drifted so far from identity, purpose, and character. If we want better women, it starts by being better men. Just plain, simple, period. We have to start somewhere. You know, we could say, well, women need to do this and they need to do this. Where do I get me? Come on. I mean, we can keep throwing rocks at each other, or we can create a solution here, right? And as the men, we need to step up. If we want to be conservative and we want to be strong and we want to be the leaders, that's what we are. Take up that mantle, be the man. Stop putting it on women. It's really not on them. It is really on you. Stop making them pay for the dates. Stop doing all this weird shit that you men are doing. It's so weird. If they don't give you sex, then they pay for half the food. That's bananas. It is bananas. Pay for the date. Are you kidding? And now, don't get me wrong, I do understand that men going on dates, women tend to use men to, I've seen it, men get used for food, and which is bananas in and of itself. Vet your women better. Vet your men better. But I digress. Moving on. And this isn't just about Christian men. This is about all men. It doesn't matter if you're Christian. It doesn't matter if you're Catholic, Buddhism, whatever. We need to stop this giant Grand Canyon between the two sexes of getting any bigger. Our birth rates are going down. As I said, men are just not dating. We have this big incel thing. Men are killing. Men are harming themselves. They are trying not to say the men are self-deleting at numbers that we've never seen. We are homeless in numbers. I actually work in addiction and in the homeless world, and you know, the numbers are through the roof. Men being addicted, men are more men are homeless than women. I mean, it's just, when we talk about inequality, honestly, it leads towards the men. And that's just the facts. You can fight them all you want, but the facts are men suffer more than women. But that's not what we're here to talk about, right? Because we can stop that suffering if we work together, create a new way of seeing each other that isn't blaming each other for why you're like this or why I'm like this, or, you know, she cheated on me, so now I'm gonna hate this new girl that's coming up, or vice versa. Men who And also, here's another thing, right? Too is a thing that really messes up men that want to lead, that want to be the leader of the house. They tend to lead with dominance, right? Not discipline. They tend to lead with control. If you don't do as I say, you do as I do, or don't do as I do as I say, right? And that kind of thinking is just, it's wrong, and it's controlling. And what you're doing is you're not dating a woman for who she is, you're creating somebody. And while some men would disagree on me with this, that's fine. I don't want to have a woman that I've created and molded into this idea of what I think a woman should be. That doesn't challenge me. That doesn't give me any challenge and growth in my life. I need to be, all of my negative attributes need to be exercised, right? They need to be taken out of me and the light shine on them, and so they can be discussed and worked through. If I find a female that just enables all of those behaviors, then what are we doing? We're not growing. And I don't want to be that guy. I've seen those men, and they're tough to be around. And we all know who those guys are. I won't ever say toxic masculinity, because I don't think there is such thing as toxic masculinity. I think there's bad people, there's good people, there's bad behaviors, there's bad choices. And let me retract that, actually. I don't think that there's bad people. I think that we make bad choices that lead to other bad choices. Anyway, men who control their emotions, their sexual drive, and their impulses, and lead through example of the fruit of the vine, those are strong men. Those are those disciplined men. And I don't even want to get into the stoic piece of it, because don't be stoic either. Be a vulnerable, communicative man. Okay? And if your wife or your girlfriend is throwing your emotions in your face, she's not the one that you should be with, right? A real human being listens to your struggles. And I've had those women. I know that they exist. I know that there are women that hear what you have to say and support you and help you get past that feeling to be the headstrong leader that you are. And that's what women are for in relationships. They help us be stronger men to get us in the family unit to a safe, protected environment. They are the strength that keeps us as men going to get us to that right place. Now, side note, I have struggled, majorly struggled with being a confident, strong leader. It's a lot of responsibility. It's hard, and it's hard to earn that trust, that true trust of a woman these days. Women are very cautious, as they should be. Be choosy. Absolutely, that's who you should be. Get the right man for you. Do not settle. But also, don't keep picking quote unquote tens, thinking that these tens are going to marry you. If they're a 10 and they make millions of dollars, they're probably not going to be loyal to you. It's just the way things are. Get that in your head, women. It's not going to happen. You're not going to marry that millionaire. You're just not. So let's settle for where your line of men are, right? And let me talk a little bit about sexual drive, right? Sexual drive, I get it, it's tough. You know, I'm on testosterone. I know what it's like to have your masculinity drive up to 11. I get it. And there's porn everywhere. Women are in the gym in their underwear. I mean, it's hard not to be tempted. It's hard not to lust, right? It really is. And any man that says that, oh, I don't pay attention to that when I'm in the gym, shut up. Shut up. It's difficult, okay? We need to acknowledge these difficult things that are in our lives. And if we just push them to the side, say, oh, it doesn't bother me, or I don't pay attention to that, I'm just at the gym to work. Bro, shut up. If we don't acknowledge these things and learn how to grow within our hearts and within our spirit, and talk to other men about it, we're not going to grow, and we're going to keep being lustful. We're going to keep having sex with too many women and build up this really dark hole within us that we're trying to fill with sex. Same with women. Sex is not the solution. It is just not the solution. Marriage, family, protection of that family, that's where men's true happiness is. Please put in the comments if you do not agree. Let's talk about it. But back to, just because the fire is burning as a man doesn't mean we have to burn the house down. We're responsible for the choices that we make. No matter how strong the urge is, we are responsible for everything that we do as men. When you try to play the victim and push it off on other people, you try to push it off on the women. I might have just blamed there by saying, women are wearing provocative clothes. That's their side of the responsibility, right? Respect yourself a little bit more. That's their conversation. So sure, I need to take responsibility and say, just because that female is wearing clothes, wearing basically no clothes and her ass is hanging out in the middle of the supermarket, doesn't mean I have to stare. Doesn't mean I have to look at her and lust after her. It means I can take that choice, look away, avert my eyes, and pay attention to what I'm doing and keep focused on the task at hand, right? That's the choice that I can make. And we're speaking real here, right? I'm not here to mince words. I'm not here to lie to you. And we're men, we have desires, we have feelings. If we try to say that we don't, we're just denying the fact that we can be hurtful and harmful and creepy to women, and that just turns them off. So let's be the strong, reserved leaders that we are, and avert our eyes and not choose to objectify women. That is our choice as men. They are not objects. They are something that we're here to protect and take care of and help us create families. Get back to the weak men breeding weak women, right? This one's difficult. Not everyone agrees with this stuff. And when women are forced to carry to what we are designed to hold, they harden, right? So when men are supposed to be the leaders and we're supposed to have the job and we're supposed to be paying the bills and we have all the things, but the woman, you're using her credit card and she's paying for the food, or you're doing 50-50 and you're doing all that. She's taking care of the kids because you're off being a douchebag. You're creating these hardened women that have to play both the role of the mother and the father. And I'm specifically speaking about in the family roles. When we're speaking about, just within relationships without any kids, the same thing happens. You're creating women that have to take up the mantle of being the leader. If you don't know how to decide where to go to the date, how to plan the date, how to pick them up, do all the things that a man has done for time forever, they have to start picking up these mantles, and you notice it when you're talking to women that you're dating. They're like, they start planning things. Well, hold on, let me take this up. I'll plan the date. I'll pay for the date. I'll pick you up. I'll do these things, and this is after vetting that female to make sure that she's not there to use and abuse you, right? But these roles that women have taken on, they're never meant to fill those roles. And so this vast schism between males and females has been created by weak men. In my opinion, I think it's us. I think it's the men. And I am, I have been a part of it myself. I've been weak at times. I come from addiction and homelessness, and I haven't always been a strong man. And I say that, I say strong man, but man, I fail all the time. I really, really do. I'm not perfect, but I try to learn from my mistakes that I make with women, and that's why I need a good woman to help me, to help support me through those fears and those feelings of inadequacy, right? Because men, we come up against those walls, but we're too afraid to express them because we'll feel that they'll be thrown back in our face. And it does happen. It absolutely does. But that's not the person you should be with. It's all about trust. Talking about discipline. So desire over discipline. I'm learning that submission, a true partner doesn't come through control. Going back to the conversation earlier, it comes through safety, through presence, through leading by example, right? If we can, as men, show other men how... I've literally been hanging out with, other people, and they're in a relationship, and I'm just kind of the third wheel, and I watch how they communicate to each other. Bad and good, right? Different people and different relationships, but I've seen some relationships where they communicate so well. There was one friend, we were rock climbing, and I was watching them. He was up, she was belaying, and their communication, I mean, there was some missteps, and something happened, I can't remember, but he was stuck in some kind of situation, and they calmly communicated, efficiently communicated, and fixed the problem while he's up on this huge rock wall, a huge face, and they fixed it because they communicated well, and he had a strength about him, a quiet, reserved strength that helped her feel safe and communicating the way that she needed to help get him down from where he was at. It was a beautiful experience. And then I think we've all seen the really crappy relationships where, the dude is just an asshole, or, whatever it is, she's bananas, and he tries to control her, tries to tell her to shut up, or she's just too bananas and he doesn't even do anything. He's just a quiet guy that just lets her do whatever she wants. Her ass is hanging out. She's flirting with men. He doesn't give a shit. We've seen those guys, and frankly, it's embarrassing. To me, you just want to go up and shake the dude, smack him in the face, say, "What are you doing, bro? Like, wake the fuck up. Your girl is bananas." And I've seen dudes that are bananas, flirting with women right in front of the girl, just completely disregarding who she is, disrespecting her, and showing that he doesn't give a shit about her. That's not okay. It just the same as the other. It's disgusting and inappropriate, and these are the relationships that I'm talking about. All right. Brothers, be the fruit of the Spirit. Brothers, be the fruit of the vine, not the flame that scorches. Lead with strength, love with restraint. Because if we don't lead and we don't rise up and reclaim what it means to be a man, this cycle will only get darker, and this schism will only grow. This valley between us, between the sexes, will only grow. There was a book called Men Are From Mars and whatever, Women Are From Venus, whichever one it is. But I would really, who we were then to who we are now are such a vast, it's not the different of the sexes anymore. It's a battle of the sexes. We are battling each other now. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I think men, we need to step up. We need to change our ways. We need to be strong, and we need to lead our families. I don't have a family, right? So you could absolutely say, Dustin, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I can watch other people and see how they lead their children, see how they lead their families, and say, is that really the best thing for them? Is that really the best thing for you? Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Again, new brand, Blood and Nails. We're going to have more discussions like this. It's going to be more refined. We're going to have a lot more fun. We're going to build some really fun things. And I really hope you follow me on this journey. And yeah, let's talk about it.